The 2025 position preview. We're looking at the running back position tonight. We looked at quarterback last week. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper in the backfield. And we gotta focus on Georgia's running game in 2025. So in 2024, Georgia averaged 129.6 yards per game on the ground, 15th in the SEC. I don't even know what they rank nationally. I couldn't count. The list wasn't numbered. It was 90 something. They're 90 something in the country in rushing yards per game last season, which is just unheard of under Kirby Smart and these Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, this is running back right? In the history of the Georgia Bulldogs, you don't see many running games as bad as it was in 2024. In 2023, Georgia averaged 191 yards a game on the ground. In 2022, averaged 205 yards a game on the ground. And it's not like we had Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel on those teams. Like, no disrespect to Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards, but they were just real solid backs. Like, Kenny McIntosh was really good. Kenny McIntosh is, I think, the best part about his game was just how dynamic he was as a receiver and a ball carrier. But he didn't have amazing numbers or anything. He was just a good player and was a 7th round pick. Not here. I don't want Kenny McIntosh catching any strays on this segment, because I was a big Kenny McIntosh fan. But in terms of Georgia having like high-end NFL running backs, like, that's not what these teams were. They just had solid SEC contributors, and they had top 3, top 4 running games in the SEC, top 20 in America both years. Like, I would have said Georgia's running game wasn't great in 2023 or 2022. It was fine. Like, it was good. It was serviceable, especially if you're having 2 quarterbacks in 2022 Beck, or 2022 Stetson, and then 2023 Beck leading the conference in passing yards. Like, those were maybe the best offenses in the SEC both years. So to see Georgia's running game at 129 yards a game is just unheard of. And so you have to look at this running back room. That's going to be a big spotlight for the 2024 season or 2025 season. I keep messing my years up here. For the 2025 season, that's going to be a huge storyline. And I've said it before, that was my biggest disappointment from the Notre Dame game, was that Gunnar Stockton was not a big part of the run game. That's what I anticipate with his skill set, that if we're looking at, if Gunnar Stockton is the starting quarterback in 2025, I apologize. If Gunnar Stockton is the quarterback in 2025 all season, and Georgia's pretty good, I'll be disappointed if Gunnar Stockton doesn't have like 500 yards rushing. Like, I expect 500 yards, 7 or 8 touchdowns. Like, I expect that to be a legitimate part of Georgia's offense this year. And, you look at this running back room, you have Trevor Etienne gone to the NFL. Saw him at the NFL Combine running a 4.43, I think. I think top 3 or 4 among running backs the 40 time. I think he should be a good player at the next level. I was really hoping Etienne and Frazier would be the 1-2 punch in this backfield. I think Georgia would have an argument for having the best running back duo in the SEC going into 2025 if you have Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier. But that's not the case. You have Nate Frazier as the leading rusher coming back, who actually did lead Georgia in yards a year ago. I think people kind of forget that. Because Etienne kind of was the number 1 guy, but he missed a couple games late in the season. But Nate Frazier's coming off, and I was pulling up the stats here. I think I had it pulled up. Well, he had like 700 yards or something. I think it's the fewest or something like that. It was, who was it? Michael Cooper, I think it was back in 2023 or back in 2003. Like I said, I'm messing up my years all over the place, but let me see here if I can pull up the stats. My computer wants, but yeah, just what run game was a year ago, and now you're replacing the best running back, as well as you saw Jared Wilson set the fastest 40 time of all time, I think, in combine history for centers. Tate Ratledge running a sub 5 40 as well. Like Georgia had some talent. Obviously, some of those guys were dinged up a year ago, but yeah, to end up with Frazier at 671 yards, Etienne at 609. Both of them averaged 5 yards a carry. It's just that's not what Georgia's used to. So I really Georgia needs to be improved in the running game in 2025. And I think the next man, if you might as well just be blindfolded, throw in a dartboard, throwing darts at a dartboard blindfolded to guess like how Georgia's carries are going to end up next year. Like I think it's safe to say Nate Frazier will be the number one guy if he's healthy, but we've seen Roderick Robinson miss time in 2023 and in 2024. I tend to think Roderick Robinson is the second best running back in this room. You saw Branson Robinson look good as a freshman and kind of more mop-up duty, kind of getting like his Elijah Holyfield on back in 2017. Elijah Holyfield, he took advantage of his garbage time and he ran hard. And so Branson Robinson kind of was that guy in 2022, and so you're kind of expecting him to emerge. 2023 the backfield was still pretty loaded, but 2024, you definitely thought Branson Robinson was going to be, now's the time he's going to emerge. And he hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately, the last couple of years. So like those two guys, like that should be a solid, top 3. But with the health issues of the Robinson brothers, obviously they're not brothers, but you get it. With the health of those guys, I think that room is definitely a question. And so Cash Jones is the only other guy that's really gotten any sort of legitimate snaps in that room. And I think Cash Jones will still be a weapon in this offense because of what he does, out of the backfield and then in the pass game. But I think those other guys just have that more, between the tackles sort of, workhorse ability. And no disrespect to Cash Jones, but I think there's a reason those guys were, higher 4-star prospects. Or borderline 5-star. Frazier may have been a 5-star, but he was in that top 20, top 30 player in the country coming out, I want to say. And then Cash Jones, that top 4, like if they're all healthy, that top 4 is good enough to have one of the better running back rooms in the SEC. But that's a big if. If is doing a lot of the heavy lifting there because both Robinsons have not been able to stay healthy in the last couple of years. And then after Cash Jones, you have Chauncey Bowens was a 4-star coming out, a true freshman in this past class. Dwight Phillips was another one. He's the one that actually got a little bit of playing time, I would say, last year. He had the touchdown on the little jet sweep against Florida, and then I think they ran the same play against Texas. When was that? That was sometime near the goal line. Was it right before? No, because Etienne scored on the play after Stockton got hit at the end. But I want to say it was down near the end zone against Texas. Georgia tried the little jet sweep again, and Dwight Phillips, I don't think he got stoned on that one. But after that, Bo Walker is the only freshman Georgia brought in this class. So, not a super big time prospect, but at this point, when it comes to Kirby Smart, like I get excited about the 5-stars, but I almost get more excited about the 3-stars. Maybe I'm just remembering the few, but I remember the Lad McConkeys, the Javon Bullards, the Eric Stokes. It seems like if you're a 3-star and Georgia wants you, you're a diamond in the rough. We've seen so many good players. Georgia signed as 3-stars, and maybe Bo Walker is that next guy. Bo Walker, just if that's not an SEC running back name, I don't know what is. That's just that fits right there. So, this running back room, I tend to think, Georgia's RBU and all that. I love that Georgia has the tradition they do at the running back position. Now James Cook's just adding to that at the next level. But at the same time, I think running back is kind of a symptom of, what the offense is. And I like I was talking about in 2022 and 2023, like those weren't amazing NFL loaded rosters in the running back room. You know, they were just solid SEC players, but you had a great offensive line, really good quarterback play, great play at the skill positions, and then those running backs look really good. So, you know, if you just have solid running backs, solid offensive line, you know, yeah, it'll be good. So, but with what Georgia was a year ago, you might need some of these guys to be a little more than just solid, because this offensive line just wasn't great a year ago. So, I'm not gonna write them off because it's Kirby Smart and it's Georgia, and they found a way to correct anytime they have a weakness. They tend to correct it. So, you know, I'm curious to see what Georgia looks like in the running back room this year.